Look how far we've come, all the things we've done. Did it all with love, beauty from the bottom up. All I want is you, you're my favorite view. But there's nothing more, girl, you make my heart beat.
And we are back.
We are back, Bumble Bitches.
Season 3, episode 10 of the To Be Better podcast.
Is that what this is?
Yep. We're still in January. This is going to drop in March.
Wow.
Yep.
Doing the thing, babe.
That's it.
All right.
So, what do we have going on today? This is our third recording today. You did your Good Wives episode.
Yes.
Then we did a conversation piece with Peach.
Blah, 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 blah.
Conversation piece.
I'm all over your mind, aren't I?
You're all over something.
Oh my God.
And then that'll go live later today to Patreon. And then your microphone's not holding up over there. Yeah, it needs some Cialis.
I don't know what to do.
I don't understand how after almost 3 years you can't figure out your microphone.
How do I?
Good enough?
Maybe. We'll see. Until I fuck with it again.
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Probably.
Picking up the kids. Doing mom stuff. After that, doing wife stuff. What do you got going on today, babe?
I'm going to stay here and edit the episode that we just recorded so that it's there. Get that to Patreon. This is not going to be relevant to anybody that's not currently watching this live in Patreon. All right, guys, as you know, there was a TikTok scare. We lost the app for a whole 12 hours and we have no idea what the future of the app looks like. And with that, we are very concerned about the loss of our following. We have amassed almost 3 million followers across that platform with all 4 of our accounts. And we are trying to push people to other social media platforms so that in the event that anything happens on one app, we have multiple other backup plans. If you want to make sure that you're not missing any content, we highly recommend that you check out our Patreon.
On Patreon, we have multiple tiers to choose from. Starting at $10, you begin to receive exclusive content. At $15 a month, you get access to our private Discord server where we've amassed an absolutely amazing community of supportive people. And beyond that, we have other tiers to check out, along with my 2 private women's group, if that's something you may be interested in.
Guys, on our $15 and higher tier, you have access to live recordings. We record all of our content 3, 4, sometimes 5 times a week, live in front of our Patreon audience, where they are able to chat with us while we're recording. They get to see all the flirting, the outtakes, the hot topic conversations that never actually make it on the podcast. And it's really worth that aspect in itself. We have an After Dark where we sit down usually once a week and have a glass of bourbon, or in Peach's case, a glass of wine and a bowl of cheese. And we have a whole lot of fun conversations, karaoke in the Discord. We finish the lyrics. We literally just hang out and you guys get to hang out with us. There is a host of other perks, including Zoom calls that are coming for the ultimate tier. So that if you guys are having problems, you can talk to us. It also gives you the heads up on private meet and greets, because when we travel, we try to meet up with people on our Discord on a regular basis. There's a whole slew of other perks that come through Patreon. I highly recommend that you check it out.
The best way to support what we are doing is to share the content. The second best way is to check out our Patreon. Thank you guys for being here.
I have to figure out the Tennessee meet and greet retreat situation still.
Yes.
We have a 3-bedroom. The 2 of us, Zach and Jenny, will be there. And we were trying to make room so that other people who are coming that are coming from out of state would have a place to sleep for the night so that they didn't have to worry about driving back multiple hours to wherever they're coming from. So I need to look a little bit deeper into that. I really tried to manipulate the Airbnb. I was like, just so you know, we're bringing a service animal because it says real big on there, no pets.
Yeah.
And I was hoping that they would be like, yeah, fuck you.
You should have hit them with 2 service animals and see if that changed it. Because technically we're supposed to be getting Bane that weekend.
Yeah.
So
well,
it's
we'll
not
be
a full fit.
getting Bane the night before we leave, and he'll be sleeping in a kennel, so it won't matter. But I was really hoping to cancel that so that I could have gotten a bigger Airbnb.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. We got so much going on right now.
Yeah, we really do.
I don't even want to get into all that right now.
I added more spots to my private women's groups.
Yes, you did. 10 more into the main group and
30 more into the Thrive group.
Yeah.
And those are getting taken up pretty quickly. So I'm going to be honest, it's going to be released in March. I don't know how many spots are left, but it's always worth checking out. There's a slow rotation happening, but there is still a rotation. So You might get lucky and have a spot open in March and snatch it real quick.
Yeah, definitely check the Patreon.
Yes.
Yep. As it stands right now, I am 27 books away from hitting 500 books sold as of January 27th.
How many books?
I've sold 473. I need 27 more to hit 500 books.
My goodness. I just needed to hear that number again.
Yeah, it'd be really cool to hit it in the next 3 days.
I think you're going
That's the
to.
goal. I want to see 500 books in the first month of my book dropping. People that bought signed copies, we sold 15 of those. So technically, I am a lot closer to that 500 number, but I'm not counting that. I'm counting that off Amazon's metrics. So, and we're in the current discussion of figuring out the audiobook. Zach is going to read it and we're going to do questions. So it'll be treated almost like a podcast. It'll be released on Audible. And I still need you to figure out your forward, the introduction written by my wife, or the forward, whatever you want to call it.
I have no idea what a forward is. I'm just going to speak from the heart.
That's all that matters.
Okay.
Just pre-write it so that you can make
That's a
changes.
good idea.
Yeah.
So I'm not just
Winging it.
flying on the seat of my tail, flying on the tail of my seat.
Flying by the seat of my pants.
Yes.
I would like to
a bird.
extend you an invite to the pants party. Brick, are you trying to invite me to a party in your pants? Yes, I am.
It took me a second. I love that Ben Stiller was Hispanic in that movie.
Yeah.
That was so funny.
Donde está, bitches? Yeah, that was good.
That's fantastic.
I don't really have a whole lot to get into. I really don't. I want to just help people today. So let's just jump into emails.
All right.
And if we have the banter in the middle, we'll have the banter in the middle.
Okay.
This is the only downside of doing multiple recordings in a day.
Well, oh yeah, there's not much to talk about after we said everything in the first recording.
Right. Abby said bread orders for when we're there. I would like, oh man, it just dawned on me that Tennessee meet and greet weekend will be the last time that we can have real food before we do our ayahuasca retreat.
It might not be.
I think it is, because we have 2 weeks of no salt, no red meat or pork. Yeah, it's pretty fucking close. We have like 4 days between the end of the retreat and the time we have to start at the new diet for that retreat. I
was 1 week behind. You're right. You're lucky. That weekend will be the last weekend we can eat things, because the 28th we have to start the 2 week.
Yeah. I would like jalapeno cheesy bread with spinach dip if we're taking bread orders.
Okay. I hope you're writing this down. I would like some type of dessert bread. Maybe like blueberry, or apple. Something that tastes sweet. And then maybe like garlic focaccia does not sound bad, but I want a lot of garlic. Enough to kill 10 vampires. And for my husband to tell me to brush my teeth before I kiss him. Garlic.
That sounds gross.
No rosemary, though. I don't like the taste of rosemary. I think a jalapeno cheddar sourdough bread would be good.
All right, let's get into emails.
Okay. I feel very on the spot being asked about bread like that.
I know, right?
I used to know so much more about bread, but all of a sudden I know nothing. Hey guys, little quick interruption. If you're enjoying the content, please leave a like. And also don't forget to comment. We enjoy interacting with you guys and hearing your opinions, and it helps the algorithm.
It's also free to do. And if you really want to help make sure the show continues to do, hit the subscribe button and share the content across your social medias. It costs you nothing and it greatly helps the show.
All right. Marriage struggles and seeking advice, or seeking guidance. I want to start by sincerely thanking you both for the work you do. Your willingness to help others navigate their relationships, even at the risk of draining yourselves mentally and emotionally, is something I truly admire. It's rare to find voices that balance honesty with compassion, and that's why I feel drawn to reach out. I got distracted because you were typing.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I'm in a complicated situation with my marriage, and after following your content, I believe your insight might offer some much-needed clarity. My wife and I have been married for several years, and we share 2 children, including a newborn. I work long shifts as a medic. I almost read that as mimic. And I was like, so you're the fucker out here making me hear noises? Nope, he is saving lives. And though I'm recovering from an injury, I do my best to ensure everything is taken care of at home. I even willingly gave up my jujitsu training, a passion of mine, to make sure she's not overstressed and can focus on herself. I also took 3 weeks of PTO since I don't qualify for FMLA, just to stay home and help her with our 2 kids and the house, trying to relieve some of the burden.
Why is he giving all this up? What I must have missed something while I was answering that question in the Discord.
He has not said.
Okay.
He gave up jujitsu to make sure that she's not overstressed and that she can have time to focus on herself. And then 3 weeks of PTO since he doesn't qualify for FMLA. I'm assuming this was for the newborn coming home.
Okay.
And he was helping with that.
Why give up jujitsu? It's an hour once a week. Like
right.
it
depends on how into it you are.
Right. But you can cut it back to an hour once a week. You figure maybe an hour drive time. It's 2 hours once a week is not that big of a deal.
Mm-hmm.
If both of you are dedicating all of your free time to making sure that each other's needs are met, that's super dope. But you're also not taking self-care, and that's a problem. Like you both should be getting that.
Yeah. If jujitsu was a really big thing and for you in your life, and that's something that you did to fill your cup, I wouldn't allow you to give up on that completely. There would definitely have to be a compromise of, no, you have to at least do this once a week or whatever that would look like. I'm not willing for you to give up things that make you who you are to try to make me happier in the relationship. Because at that point, I feel like you're chipping away at your soul. Why did you make that face at me?
Because that's what relationships are.
Right.
It's giving up of things to make sure the relationship is right.
But you just chastised him for giving up jujitsu.
I did.
So how is that different from what I just said?
Because in an event where we had a newborn and you were going through postpartum depression and we are not able to find a point where you're able to just completely decompress.
Mm-hmm.
And I decided to not go to the gym for 2 weeks or not do jujitsu for 2 weeks or not do photography or
That's
whatever.
a different conversation.
Right. Well, that's the giving up of to make sure that we're okay.
Right, but there's a timeline on that. You're not giving it up for good. You just said if I stop doing it for 2 weeks to help you, I view that as healthy.
Right. Okay. So we're on the same page then.
Versus completely trashing an instance, instead of completely trashing an interest.
Right.
And saying, I'm never going to do that again because I would rather you be happy in what's going on.
Okay. We're on the same page.
Okay. Dope. Continuing on, I strive to support her and validate her as much as I can. I regularly ask her what more I can do to help, but the response is always, nothing, you're doing fine. Still, I don't feel seen or appreciated. Recently, for instance, I watched our kids while she went out with friends, and when she came back, there wasn't even a thank you. I've told her how I feel using I statements to avoid sounding accusatory, but it always turns into a defensive argument. No matter how carefully I approach things, it feels like I'm walking on eggshells.
So the no apology, or I'm sorry, the no gratitude comes from a place of not being seen, not from a place of you should thank me. That's what that sounds like.
Yeah.
Like he's really tired of not being seen. This sucks.
Yeah.
Right? Like I'm going above and beyond trying to do everything and she doesn't even see my efforts.
Yeah.
That's the conversation that needs to be had. I do want to make it very clear that though gratitude for watching the children should be there, don't expect it.
Right.
The moment you decide to be a parent, you raise your children.
You're not a babysitter.
Right. So that needs to be one of those things that we all just accept that this is what we're doing. And that needs to be that.
Making sure the children's tablets are charged.
Gotcha.
We got into the car this morning and the children had a very, very easy morning today. There was no arguments. There was no frustration. I have completely damn near eliminated all screen time in the household. We watch that Verarium show or the Tuttle Twins while eating dinner.
Yep.
And then we're reading a book. We're doing art stuff. You guys can work in your workbooks for math and writing and reading and all those other kinds of things. TV doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah. We didn't even have the TV on it last night at all.
No.
Zero TV last night.
And we got into the car this morning and our son was like, can I use my tablet? And I was like, I don't know, bud. I don't know how I feel about that. And he was like, but you said I've been doing good this morning. And I was like, damn. And he was like, and I've been doing really good this last week. And I was like, damn, like you're hitting me with the stipulations that I gave you. I was like, you're right. You did have a really good morning. And he was like, I didn't give you a hard time. And I was like, you're right. You didn't give me a hard time. You were up, ready to go, did the thing, brushed your teeth, had breakfast. Didn't fight me on the way out the door. I was like, okay, you can use your tablet on the way to school today. And our daughter was like, can I use my tablet? And I was like, yeah. And I gave it to her and she went, Mommy, I can't use my tablet. And I was like, why? And she was like, it's dead. And I was like, oh gosh. And instead we played a game that we created. And that's my little tangent about my children. Continuing on.
Before you move on, Jenna,
Okay.
Jenna said, people misunderstand I statements, often myself included. I will believe what I'm saying is an I statement until I hear it back sometimes. I statements are hard because you're not supposed to be throwing blame, shame, judgment, or guilt. It is solely about what you feel in the moment and how things can be resolved. And the moment you take the shift away from the feeling inside of what's going on and what actually happened and start like trying to, well, when you always, you never, it becomes that actually becomes very problematic because you may start off with good intentions, but it's important to try to work on those and practice the I versus you. Go ahead, Carrie. We'll wait.
One situation that stands out is when we sit down to watch a movie together. Even when it's something we both agreed to watch, she'll spend the whole time on her phone. When I ask her to put it down, she says she's bored. I'm going to pause right there. You do that. We will sit down to watch something and 10 or 15 minutes into it being turned on, you're on your phone. And then you'll put it down for 5 or 10 minutes. And then 5 or 10 minutes later, you're back on your phone doing something. There are people who run on needing multiple stimuli to happen in the moment to not just have a meltdown.
I have to be very, very invested in what we're watching to not do that.
Yeah.
So it's got to be something I'm really excited to watch for the first time, like in a movie theater. I won't focus with my phone at all because I'm paying to be there. Like I'm invested. Right. I really want to see this movie. Or it's got to be a TV show that we're binge watching that I am really, what's going to happen next? Because otherwise I do need multiple stimuli. But I'm also the person that will listen to an audiobook while gaming and sending text message and, you know, dealing with Discord. And I have multiple tabs open all the fucking time.
Doesn't mean you're great at all of them.
Not always. Sometimes it's a fucking disaster. And you're like, did you hear what I said? And I'm like, no. What?
And I'm like, why are you sending me this text message? And you're like, because I just had a whole conversation with you in my mind. And you have zero context, so let me fill you in.
Yeah. That may or may not happen a lot more than it should.
Than you like to admit.
Yeah. There's times where I'm like, hey, babe, did I tell you about da 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 da? And you're like, nope. And I'm like, hey, well, speaking of that. Yeah. Yeah.
There's also times in group chats, I'm like, hey, babe, why did you say this? And you're like, scroll up. And I'm like, I've scrolled up to yesterday.
Just because it was started.
And there's no context.
In a different chat. And this is just where I happen to respond.
All those tabs going, babe.
Hey, it works. The people that needed to hear it heard it.
It was there.
So
even if it was a little delayed, it's there.
This works for me.
Yeah.
It may not work for everyone else. Well, I'm content.
So I said all of that to say this. You can't take that personally. If she's bored, she's bored. She might need mass stimuli to be occupied in the moment.
Yeah. So there's also something to be said about, hey, I would like a date night.
Yeah.
And that's a phones get put away situation, right? If you're just sitting on the couch watching TV because this is what you do every night and this is your normal routine, of course, that stimuli may not be there. Excuse me. But having a dedicated date night, we're going to watch a movie tonight. We're going to buy something on Amazon. That phone gets put away. What are you doing? Lilo
looks derpy as fuck over here and I got to take a picture of her. She really does just look like a crackhead sitting on the street sometimes. Yeah. It's her eyeballs that get me.
I would also like to touch on the fact that if you and I did not have the intimacy in our relationship and our relationship is not healthy, like this one is currently being described as, I would take those moments of you constantly being on your phone as engaging with other people and giving your attention to somebody that isn't me. And
then taking it personal.
And then absolutely would take it personal.
Yeah.
Who the fuck are you talking to all the time?
Why are you on your phone all the time?
Why are you smiling at your phone? Right?
That's still a hard one for me.
There'd be a whole lot. Well, I mean, I smile at my phone a lot and I normally show you right away, but if I don't, you can ask me. I'll show you my phone. I don't give a fuck. I don't have anything to hide. right? Like our relationship is super healthy and great and amazing. But I also do disconnect like that while we're watching TV. But I can also watch TV and have a conversation on my phone or watch TV and TikTok at the same time and mostly keep up with what's going on the show. Why are you laughing?
What just happened? I missed it.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know, babe. I'm reading. This is your show.
There are times where it'll be a really boring thing happening and then they'll say something that's prevalent and I have to rewind it because I wasn't really paying attention in the moment.
Yeah.
But that wouldn't have mattered if I was staring at the TV or not because I'd have disassociated during the boring ass part. TV shows like to put fillers in there. And like they really enjoy doing, everybody's trying to like make TV more than it needs to be. Like they're adding things that's not pivotal to the storyline. Like talking about divorces and talking about relationships or what sexual preferences a character has. Like I don't give a fuck about that. That's not the story. Like I need to know why this person is murdered. I don't give a shit about this random NPC's husband.
Yeah.
So I check out on a lot of that shit. But anyways, back to what I was saying, I would feel very disconnected and I would start to feel like there was something going on your screen that has nothing to do with our relationship. And I would start to question if there is an emotional infidelity happening or an actual, like, are you fucking on Snapchat? Like, what are you doing on your phone over there? Yeah. There'd be a whole lot of insecurity happening from that if our relationship was fucked up.
100%.
So this is normal feeling for this guy. Like 100%. You're not alone, dude.
Well, right. Well, that coupled with him not feeling appreciated, there's multiple layers to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I too would start questioning like what's going on. Why is he on his phone all the time? Oh, now there's a question. Do they have any intimacy? Right.
Well, we also know that she left and went out with the girls and like he stayed at home with the kids. Like that's weird to me. Yeah. Like that feels very foreign. Like hearing that feels foreign to me because you don't do that.
No.
Like very rarely do you ever go out and like normally I'm invited.
Yeah.
So like if I don't go, it's my choice. Like, hey babe, go hang out with Caitlin, go kayaking, go have a smoke session, do whatever it is that you're going to do. I'm going to stay here and watch TV. Like go have girl time. But that's not, I'm always invited. It's never one of those things that
you're forbidden.
Right. Right.
You shall not pass.
But even that seems weird to me because that shit's planned way in advance. There's never a hey, last minute, hey, I'm going to go to fucking get coffee with Susie Homewrecker. Like it's just a thing. So hearing that feels foreign to me. It's just a weird thing.
Yeah.
I'm very grateful that you are not a go out with the girls all the time person because I'm not a go out with the guys all the time person. And that would also create a division between us.
I agree with that.
But I think that speaks to the foundation of our relationship. Like we spent a lot of time in a non-intimate situation with each other, learning who each other is. So that would become a giant alarm. Yeah. That would actually start making me have anxiety. Like my body would be telling me that there's something not right in this.
Yeah. Continuing on.
No, real quick. Buff Bell said, I'm about to get myself a work phone. Pretty hype. Look into getting an unplugged phone. Some people call it an up phone. Unplugged. Just type in unplugged phone on Google and do the research. It has a built-in VPN. You have to pay for it. It's $129 a year to have all of their services, but it's completely encrypted. And you can, like, if you go to download an app to the phone, it tells you how it has a 1 through 5 rating for security to let you know how unprivate the app is. Highly recommend that phone. And it's an Android operating system for those of you who are Androids. Do y'all want to go axe throwing? Yes.
Well, Zach said, I'm pretty sure I would just ask both of them instead of just asking you to hang out.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, we're a package deal. And like, unless it's a close family member and they want like one-on-one time with me, it's us.
Yeah. Let me take that back. If you told me I was not allowed to go somewhere, that would be the problem.
Yeah.
I don't care if you want to go out to lunch with your aunt. But if you were specifically like, hey, I'm going out to lunch with my aunt, she wants to have a conversation with me, you're not invited. Excuse the fuck out of me. Yes, I am.
Why would you say that?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I get that. Continuing on.
Yep.
When I ask her to put the phone down, she says she's bored. This leaves me feeling disrespected and emotionally disconnected. I've tried having conversations about it, but they never lead to change. Instead, it turns into me being the one at fault for bringing it up. Another instance occurred at her baby shower. Ooh, I'm going to pause right there. The baby shower is for the baby, not for the mother. So that should say our baby shower.
It should have.
So
the baby shower is actually supposed to be there to help new parents who
Right.
can't afford shit.
diapers and car seats, stroller, whatever.
Right. Because babies are fucking expensive.
Right. So just that sentence right there, I don't know. I could be just reading too far into things. But based on the things that he said prior and now just saying the things that occurred at her baby shower.
There's a huge disconnect here.
Yeah, this is not an us thing. This is a her and then a him. Sophisticated roommates.
Mm-hmm.
Continuing on.
Can you read the thing that you just read again? Because I got hung up on something
Another instance occurred at her baby shower.
before that.
Instead, it turns into me being the one at fault for bringing it up
So she's not willing to address any of the problems in the relationship.
or take accountability.
This is one of those things that you're the problem. Fuck you, change. I'm not changing. I'm happy with what I have in life. This is a very one-sided thing. If you can't have a conversation about what's going on and express your feelings and needs to your person without it becoming a fight, you either A, don't know how to communicate, which is probably very realistic, or two, they don't give a shit about you.
Yeah.
And that's the selfishness of all of this. I'm going to do what I want to do. If you don't like it, leave. That's how that feels to me.
Right. I agree. Continuing on.
Mhm.
So another instance occurred at her baby shower. I planned everything exactly how she wanted, even renting out a beautiful botanical garden and decorating it to her vision. During the event, my mother asked what we would do if I were at work and my wife went into labor. I answered honestly, saying I would leave work if possible. My mom then made a valid point. What if I were on call and couldn't leave? I responded, in that case, my wife might need to drive herself or have someone drive her, and I would meet her at the hospital as soon as I could. That's when her cousin called me a piece of shit in front of everyone. I let it slide at first, not wanting to ruin the day, but then she said it again to my wife, who did not defend me. And I blew up at her cousin.
Okay, let's backpedal a little bit. The cousin thing is a whole ass discussion.
Yeah.
Renting space at a botanical garden and decorating it the way that it would make the mom happy, that money could have been spent on the things that you need for your child.
Yes.
All of that shit is for the parents. You got a 1-year-old's birthday and you're renting out a fucking recreation center and there's a bunch of adults there for a 1-year-old. You're doing that for you. It has nothing to do with the kid.
Yeah.
If you need a baby shower and you need somebody to help you buy strollers and milk and fucking diapers and cloth and all that bullshit that you need for a baby, you shouldn't be buying a big fucking event. Like at that point, you're doing it for the event aspect of it to like, hey, I'm pregnant. Shower me with gifts.
Give me attention.
Right. That's a problem for me.
I agree.
I honestly, I understand if you've got a big family, but that could be done at a park.
Right.
Unless it's winter and like you're, dealing with snow, you could have a barbecue. And fucking hot dogs and hamburgers are cheap. Thanks for coming out, guys. Bring your own sodas. Everybody bring a food item. I got the hot dogs.
Right.
Buy a 20 pack of hot dogs for $10. I don't get it. On the cousin thing, if one of your family members ever talked to me like that and the very first moment it happened, you didn't defend me, you and I would have major fucking problems.
Yeah. Yeah. I would be putting a halt on the party. My spidey senses would be tingling. Don't play that game. So you are now uninvited from this event. You can go ahead and gather yourself and whomever you brought with you and you can leave. You can have discussion after this. And if you don't want to acknowledge that that was wrong, we just won't talk anymore. You're not going to talk to my husband that way. You're not going to talk to the father of my children that way. The wife not defending him pisses me off.
How many times do you think this woman has gone to that cousin
And talk shit.
and talk shit about that man? Because that's not a one-time thing.
No.
That if that was like a rare occurrence, that person would have been like, wait, you really wouldn't go to the hospital? Why wouldn't you go to the hospital? Like there'd be a conversation there. For it to go from 0 to 11 that fucking quick, there is a negativity bias.
There's animosity there.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'll blow up I'll blow up my own party. I don't care. You were fucking wrong for saying that to my husband. And if the whole family wants to jump on the bandwagon of, oh, well, he's in the wrong, you guys can leave. My husband and I will stand here and enjoy this botanical garden and we'll eat the cake and do whatever. And then we'll leave. I don't need you here to have a good time. I want you here. You're my family and I care about you guys. But if you can't conduct yourself with respect at my own event with my husband or our own event, I don't know why I keep thinking of this as a birthday party.
Yeah. Well, it's because it's what it feels like.
It's a baby shower. It's for both of them.
It's not though. This is something she wanted and he gave it to her because this is what she wanted.
Yeah.
So it is for her. It's not for the baby. This could have been done anywhere for free. You could have had this at home.
Right. I think the wife not defending her husband solidified in front of all of those people that she agrees that her husband's a piece of shit.
Mm-hmm.
I would be reevaluating the marriage. Like the surface level is you didn't say anything to your cousin, but underneath that is, why didn't you say anything? Did you agree with that?
Right. There definitely needs to be a whole lot of conversation.
Yeah.
But with the previous parts of this email, the conversation can't be had because she shuts it down.
Turns it around on him.
So the next option is going to be couples counseling or therapy where you need to actually sit down with a mediator that can play the sides. This is what we say though, that the people don't like each other. If you were in that new lustful, loving, and premarital phase and everything is amazing, you're in that honeymoon phase, so to speak, and your person gets mad at you, it hurts.
Yeah.
You're like, well, wait, what did I do? Like, don't be mad at me. Like, and you try to problem solve instead of just shutting the shit down. This comes with years of resentment.
Yeah. Unspoken expectations or whatever happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, that woman's not a wife. She's a girlfriend who got a ring on it. A wife wouldn't tolerate that.
A true wife wouldn't, no. Because it's supposed to be one flesh.
Yeah.
Like if you're talking bad about my partner.
You're talking bad about me.
Absolutely.
So you just called my husband a piece of shit. By proxy, you're calling me a piece of shit.
That's how I feel.
And now we have beef.
Yep.
Yeah. This is going to be the last thing I say and then I'll go on because I'm stewing on it. Nobody comes before my husband. I don't care who you think you are in my life. And nobody is in a position to talk that way to my husband or about my husband. We could be having a tea party 3 hours away from my house and you can say something out of the side of your neck. We're not friends anymore. If you truly feel that way about my husband, why are we sitting here together?
Try to think of how to word this.
Okay.
What if you guys were not near the husband and something was being said and something offhanded got said? Would you still act that way?
Yeah.
Okay.
The first thing I would do is say, can you repeat that for me? Because now I want you to repeat what you just said to make sure I heard it right, but I also want to give you the opportunity to hear the fucked up thing you just said.
Right. I know that you don't talk poorly about me.
No.
Right? At least I hope not. Obviously, if I'm not there, I have no idea. I believe that that's not a thing. But even in the event that, let's say I said some really nasty shit, like we got into a fucking drag out argument, which we've never actually had. We've always kicked things before it got that far.
Yeah.
But let's say we had like a screaming match and you left and you called your so-and-so friend, aunt, cousin, fucking, I don't care. And in the moment you were like, I can't fucking believe he did that. He's such an asshole, right? Because you're mad at me in the moment.
Right.
If the person on the other side of the phone agreed and was like, you're right, he is an asshole, and started to feed that, would you be able to reel that back in and stop it and realize what was happening in the moment?
Me now, yeah. But I'm also never going to say that on the phone to somebody.
Right.
I might have a thought of fuck him, make me fucking angry right now. Nose is still super cute though. And I like the way his butt moves when he walks, so. And he holds my hand and he kisses my forehead and he makes sure that I have all the wonderful things in life. And then I'm not mad at you anymore, so I don't have to talk shit to people because my fleeting emotions of whatever will never be outweighed by your actions.
I wonder how hard it would be for somebody to hit the brakes in that moment. Especially if this is their normal behavior, right? Like,
well, I used to be that person. I'd call whoever would listen. I would call someone, talk shit, and then that conversation would end naturally, and I would still feel unsatisfied, and I would reach out to somebody else and have the same exact conversation of talking shit about my person.
Right.
Trying to get whatever validation I'm looking for.
You're also perpetuating that feeling, making it last all day long, and you're getting attention from people while you're doing it.
Yep.
But there's got to be at some point where you're healing enough or wanting to save your marriage enough that when you start to do that, you're able to pump the fucking brakes and make it stop. Like, do you hear what you just said about your person? Like,
right.
You know what I mean? Like there's got, I don't know. I don't know. And I guess in my head, if I was like, she's such a bitch sometimes. And one of my friends was like, yeah, you're right. She's a bitch. I'm like, excuse me? The fuck did you just say to me? Like that would be enough for me to snap out of that because that's my woman. Like I can be mad at her and talk shit right now because I'm angry at her. I don't mean that shit. I'm just frustrated and don't want to punch something, right? Like I'm emotionally regulated now, damn it. To a degree. obviously if I'm talking to you that way or about you that way, I'm not emotionally regulated. I'm still in the healing phase. And that's where that came from of like, how do you pump the brakes in that moment to work on that? I don't want to be this person, because you are perpetuating that behavior. You are giving the people in your life a reason to have a negativity bias and make them hate your person. So even when things are going really well, like at a fucking
baby shower,
and I just dropped the F-bomb, and that was not an intentional F-bomb. You're at a baby shower. You were supposed to be having a family event. This is supposed to be a moment of love and the idea of a baby coming and your community coming together to help you. So while you're having this amazing moment with your wife and you're celebrating the fact that there's going to be a baby coming into the world, now there's shit being talked.
Yeah.
And there's hostility aimed at you because of the negativity bias that your wife has perpetuated, assumably. Assumably. I think assumably is right. Because we don't know. I don't know. I'm making up words.
Okay.
It sounded good to me. It made my brain wrinkle go.
I like it.
So we're going to run with it.
Keep going.
That's it. That was my thought process.
That was fantastic.
Go team. Go team.
Okay. Continuing on. I later apologized to my wife, but I felt deeply disrespected by both her cousin and her lack of response.
He apologized to his wife? Why?
For blowing up on her cousin.
Oh, no, I ain't apologizing for that.
Yeah, fuck that. She told me I shouldn't have reacted that way, but I couldn't shake how hurt I was. How about your cousins shouldn't have been talking shit about your husband at your guys' baby shower?
Right.
I don't do well with women. I really don't. You know, I have female friends. I don't have male friends because I don't think in the long run men and women can be friends without there being some type of weird tension happening.
I actually agree with that. I think at some degree, at some point in a relationship, that will actually happen.
Yeah. Out of all of the dude friends I've ever had, only one dude turned me down. Yeah. And it was because I was crazy with my borderline. All the other dudes were willing to look past that.
Well, were you crazy in the moment?
No.
Oh.
No. But he had been my friend for a while and he saw a lot of that. But like even now, like me being me now, I don't even private DM Zach. I private DM'd him for his birthday.
Yeah, we group chat everything. It just makes things not messy.
Yeah. And I have my female friends who are on the wavelength that I'm on and we're continuing to grow as people. But a vast majority of the female population, I can't deal with this. Yeah. Where's the loyalty to your husband?
Yep. This has been happening. There's no way that this has not been happening in the background, because otherwise that comfort wouldn't be there. There's been a past. Like this has happened behind his back. I would put money on it.
Oh yeah. And I bet she perpetuated that shit talking.
Yeah. Yep. And I'm not a big gambler when it comes to things that I'm gonna lose my money on. Like I'll play poker because poker's calculated risk. I can bow out of that shit. Like I don't play roulette at all. No. So like I don't gamble. I play poker. There's a difference.
There's also strategy with poker.
Right. But this I would put money on that this is a thing that goes on behind his back.
Yeah. I agree with that. Continuing on.
Yes.
We tried marriage counseling 3 years ago due to us separating. She left me because I was a real shitty human being and not the man I strived to be. After working through my bullshit through counseling and both of us setting boundaries, we got back together and everything was fine for a time. But eventually she fell back into the same routine. I try to avoid conflicts with her family because she wants me to get along with them, validate her feelings, and stay calm. But it's hard to do when I don't feel respected in return. I've always wanted to break the generational cycle of divorce in my family, but now I'm struggling with the weight of what that would mean. How can I teach my kids about healthy relationships when I'm constantly feeling unappreciated and unseen in my own relationship?
I'm going to pause for a minute.
Okay.
I know that there are men in the chat right now. And for the men in the chat, would you rather be loved or respected? That's an honest question.
I feel like they go hand in hand, though.
I don't.
Which one would you rather have?
Respect. I would rather you respect me as an individual and be proud of me and like gracious than to actually be in love with me. If for some reason our intimacy got fucked up, right? And we ended up in a roommate phase, right? Like that's a worst case scenario for me. Honestly, that's a worst case scenario for me. If we ended up in that situation and you fell out of love and still respected me as a man and as a provider and as a father and as a husband figure and as a leader, I could live the rest of my life like that. Would it suck? At times, absolutely. But I would rather you respect me than be in love and secretly hate my guts, because you can do both. You can be in love with somebody and not want them around you.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's things that really aggravate you them, or I guess there's a difference between being in love and having love for somebody. That I guess that's a conversation that needs to be had. But
you feel like I do a good job of respecting you?
Yes. Yeah. There's a healthy balance of love and respect.
Okay.
It's why we work so well. I don't, Zach said respect is a lesser level than love. I don't know. Abby said she's asking Tom. Zach said, I would rather be loved, but I demand respect if you want to be in my life. That's a fair statement. I agree with that. The problem is most people aren't willing to set that boundary.
Mm-hmm.
So
there are more moments like this, but one of the hardest was after I had a serious accident while on duty. I called my wife multiple times to let her know, but she didn't answer. My heart drops when I miss a phone call from you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it because I don't call very often?
Well, that and yes, that. And it's also like I pride myself on always picking up the phone when you call. And when I don't, I feel like I missed an opportunity to be a wife. That sounds stupid. I know it sounds stupid. Not everybody lives that way. But it's a big deal for me to always be at your beck and call. The only phrase I can think of in the moment. So when I miss a phone call from you, there's a little piece of me that's like, fuck, you piece of shit. You should have not have been doing this and had your phone on you. That's not realistic at all.
Definitely an extreme.
Yeah. Also, with my new phone, I can't set people to bypass the do not disturb. So I have to have my volume on to some extent in order for the do not disturb to be able to be bypassed. And when I have that on, my phone just goes nonstop. I couldn't imagine you calling me or me calling you multiple times and you not answering. If either of us misses a phone call, there's a call back immediately.
I normally will text you. If I don't answer the phone, there's a reason. I'm on the phone with Comcast.
Yeah.
Like I finally got a person. I'm not fucking hanging up right now. I'll call you back in 10 minutes. Is it an emergency?
Right.
Right? It's a house burning down. You bleeding. Like I'll hang up for that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, don't make me do this again, please.
Yeah.
You know, that's what that comes down to.
Right.
But I also got to be honest with the way all of this is and the way he feels. If I tried calling you for an emergency and you weren't answering your phone, I would in my head, I'd go, okay, she's on the phone all the time on the couch. She's not present in our relationship. She's going out with the girls all the time. And I don't know what she's doing while she's out there. Her cousin's talking shit to my face.
Cheating on me.
That's exactly where I would go.
Yep. Continuing on.
Mm-hmm.
I finally reached out to our mutual best friend who managed to contact her. But even after hearing the news, my wife continued having lunch with her family just minutes from the hospital.
Damn. So hold on. The friend was able to get through and she answered the phone. Yeah, this marriage is over to me.
Yeah.
Yep.
That would have been the final straw for me. I would have messaged that person and been like, how long did it take her to pick up?
Right. I wouldn't have.
How many times did you call?
I wouldn't even have asked. That would have been the end. There would have been no discussion.
I would want to know that. I would definitely want to know that.
This is the difference between you and I and the way that we process things.
Yeah.
We had a really long discussion the other day because of something that you were going through and you kept asking me and I was like, what would that solve? Like the situation is, regardless of in this situation here, having the information of how many times did it take before they answered, it doesn't matter. If he called multiple times and the friend was able to get through and he wasn't while he's in the hospital and they knew he was in the hospital minutes away from where they're having lunch and she still didn't answer the phone or call back, that's it.
Yeah.
I don't need to know anything else. I know that I could be dying right now. She doesn't know the extent of me being in the hospital and she's choosing to not be here. If I'm going to be alone, I'm going to be alone.
Yeah.
Because I can be happy by my fucking self.
Right.
Let me get an emergency contact that will actually be there in an emergency instead of somebody that's there because it's convenient for them.
I agree with all of that. I would want to know because there's going to be a conversation afterwards. And I was like, I called you 10 times and you didn't answer. And then Samantha called you. Well, it took her 3 calls to get through too. No, Samantha told me it only took her 1 try to get to your ass. So not only did you disrespect me as your husband or whatever, you lied to me.
What would that conversation do?
It would be the finality of everything.
The finality of it was the moment you decided that this
Right.
wasn't going to work anymore. So what's the point in the conversation?
I like having information. I don't want people trying to lie to me about something. So if I can have the information from somebody else, I want that information.
Yeah. Yeah, that's just where you and I differ. When I'm done, I'm done. I don't need to have another conversation. As far as I'm concerned, you could get hit by a bus tomorrow and set on fire in the street. I don't give a fuck.
Well, you can't just not talk to that person ever again. Your lives are intertwined.
No, you can. You
So
can be
are
like,
you just going to go into the house and silently pack your shit and leave? Or
maybe. I would probably walk in and be like, hey, I needed you today and you weren't there for me. This was the final straw. I'll go to a lawyer tomorrow and I would pack my shit and I would leave.
Okay.
There's no reason to have a conversation. I've made my fucking mind up. At that point, I don't need closure. Closure is going to be me closing the door on my way out.
Yeah.
Closure will be me sitting down with my lawyer to figure things out. I'm not doing that. I'm not going to argue with somebody and have an 8-hour back and forth about who was wrong and who did what. When I fucking needed you the most, you chose to not be there.
Well, I'm also not having an 8-hour conversation.
I'm not having an 8-minute conversation at that point. Yep. You showed me that you're not my wife. That's not something I can get over.
Yeah. My best friend, who was 45 minutes away, arrived before she did. That experience felt like the tipping point for me. I love my wife, I really do. We've been together since she was 19 and I was 23. And I've worked hard to provide for our family, sacrificing where I can. But as much as I care for her, it feels like we're surviving instead of thriving. The emotional intimacy is gone. Respect feels like a distant memory. And I'm torn between trying to make things work for the sake of our kids and protecting my mental health, which is deteriorating.
This doesn't sound like survival to me. It sounds like complacency.
Yeah. Torn between trying to make things work for the sake of the kids. What you are providing for the kids is a broken marriage.
Yep. Which they see.
They would be better off watching you guys separately, trying to get your lives together. And even then, if you get your shit together and she doesn't, now the kids have a really good example of what it looks like when you put in hard work to be the best human being you can be, and somebody who is complacent with being a piece of shit.
Right. And let's talk about how different things are when you leave a situation like that and actually find somebody that loves you. Or in the event that you're able to start loving yourself, right? Like he said, he's starting to become depressed.
Yeah.
There's a lot of self-loathing that comes from that. And that's the honest truth. Like most people, when they're going through the depression, they hate themselves. You start to love yourself and you start to make changes in your life and really start changing your life and becoming that person, becoming the man that you believe you can be. And the universe goes, hey, you've healed. You've done a whole lot. Here's a reward. Sally just walked in front of you and dropped her handkerchief so that you would bend down and pick it up like in the old days.
Yeah.
Right? Now you have a reason to talk to each other.
Right.
And now you have an opportunity to make something of somebody who's going to actually fucking show up when you need them to.
Continuing on.
Yep.
I know I still have bullshit that I'm constantly working on every day to be the man she visions and a man when I look in the mirror that I don't hate.
There you go. I literally just said that.
Yeah. To be the man that she visions.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah. Fuck off with that. If she can't appreciate you for who you are now and the growth that you're already exuding from who you were prior in your separation, what's the point? You're not here to fit a mold of her idea of the perfect husband. You're either her husband or you're not.
And before anybody goes, well, you say all the time to be the best version of you for them. We absolutely do say that. And there's a difference between being the best version of me for you than what you perceive of me by me trying to fit that mold.
Yeah.
You can't fit a round peg into a square hole. So I'm going to be the best version of me and hope to God that you value it. Because that's all I can do.
That's it.
And there's a fucking difference there.
Your podcast and content have been a lifeline for me during this difficult time, and I'd be incredibly grateful for any advice you can offer. Thank you again for everything that you do.
This is one of those times where I'm going to say you need to go back to therapy. And if therapy doesn't fix this and you guys aren't able to get on the same page, this is one of those situations where I'd be heavily considering an exit strategy.
Yeah.
I got to be honest, if it was me being in the hospital and not being able to get my wife to come and show up when I needed her, that would have been the final straw for me. What if it was a paramedic calling from your phone, right? Like, what if you were laying on the sidewalk with half of your brain hanging out of your head and a paramedic is back-to-back calling, trying to get your wife to answer the phone because it says wife or honey or whatever. And the paramedic's blowing your shit up and you're just putting it to voicemail.
Right.
And your husband is laying in the road with half of his fucking brain hanging out. We're taking him to this hospital. leaving voicemail after voicemail, sending text messages, whatever, and she's not answering the phone. Because paramedics will use your phone to call people.
Right.
I've had it happen. So they asked me when I was in the back of an ambulance after my motorcycle accident, is there anyone you'd like to call? I'm like, yeah, it hit the thing in my favorites on my phone, passcodes, blah, blah, blah. I think that speaks to my own experience though.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of ugly in this and a whole lot of healing that's got to be done. And this is not going to be an easy process. And even more so if she doesn't want to do the work, you can't do it for her. So at that point, what are you going to do?
Right. Do you want to do another email? Do you want to wrap up?
We're 53 minutes in. I don't know. I really want, I wish that I had something to tell this dude, but ultimately you can't make people love you. You can't make them respect you, and you can't make them be the person that you envision them to be. And while you're trying to fit her narrative, she's not doing the same. Now, keeping in mind that this is a very small window that we get to view your life from because this is what you're telling us. Mm-hmm. If her story looks vastly different and she doesn't see things the way that you do, then maybe the communication's fucked up and that's why you guys are where you are. I don't know. Marriage is supposed to be ride or die. Yeah. This is us. Like we're going to the fucking ends of the earth together. We're Thelma and Louise in this bitch. We're going off that cliff together. Romeo and Juliet. Like that's my idea of marriage. We're running. The idea of one person just completely checking out and the other person killing themselves trying to make it work. It's very one-sided. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't do that. Where's the point of being married in that aspect? Yeah. Let's do another one.
Okay.
I don't know what to say to this.
Yeah, I don't have any final thoughts on that one because it's just negative. So
yep. There was not a single redeeming quality in the entire email. Love is not enough. Mm-hmm. I would send her the email. Yeah. Be like, this is, I want to let you know that our relationship is so fucked up and I can't talk to you that I reached out to strangers on the internet of a podcast, hoping to God that they would read the fucking email and help me save our marriage because you're not willing to do it. And then fucking send her the episode. Sure, she'll get super butthurt about it. It's probably going to start a huge ass fight, but.
Even if it does, it's because there's shame in her own actions.
Yeah. Shame is a good reason to change.
Yeah, it is.
You look at any
been kicking my ass.
Look at any parent go, oh yeah, you're going to wear that. Or a relationship. Do I look fat in this? No, babe, you look great. Very different conversation. You going to wear those shoes? Yeah. You really going to wear Crocs in that fucking fine ass red dress?
I was about to say, you didn't even have to say shit this morning. Like
you saw that look on my face. How dare you?
My heels were in my gym bag and my gym bag was in the car. At least I made sure they were on when you walked in today.
Yeah.
And you didn't have to see Crocs with this dress.
Yeah.
I felt it in the moment.
I know you did.
It wasn't even like a slight look movement. He looked down at my Crocs and he looked at my dress and then he looked at my face. I was like, he hates this. I bet his thoughts were those fucking Crocs.
I'd rather see you barefoot.
Yeah.
In that dress than wearing fucking Crocs. Yes, ma'am.
I like it when you call me ma'am.
I know you do.
Oh my gosh.
It's reserved. Right up there with little one.
I hate it. I hate that it's reserved because I crave it so much. And when it doesn't happen, I feel like I'm fucking up.
Right. But if I just threw it out all the time, it'd be like me calling you hotness. There's actual flirting there. That's me calling you beautiful in my own way. I've given you a cute nickname. Yeah. Because you want to do archery. You're like Katniss Everdeen, but sexy.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
So you're Hotness Everdeen. That's where that came from for me. So like, I don't want to overuse it and it lose its value because I feel like hotness has lost its value. So calling you little one or yes, ma'am, and talking to you that way is reserved. Like that's the intentional feeling behind the thoughts.
I understand it. I get it. I love it. I just want to be selfish and have it all the
time. That's funny.
I do appreciate the times you say it though, because it definitely hits me emotionally.
See? Intentional.
Well, hotness still does it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just doesn't make me cry. Okay. This one is just called Patreon.
Okay.
Good morning, Chris and Peaches. I've always stumbled across your videos and everything always really resonated with me. It wasn't until I turned 30 in June that I decided to really take a look at myself and change things because my life has not always been blue skies. I have been binging your podcast on Spotify while I work. I own a cleaning company and clean houses for a living and have for 13 years. Like you both, I have been through the ringer many times in relationships, but I am absolutely not innocent in any of those relationships. Including my previous marriage, I have been very toxic.
Can we side rail for a second? I believe that that's a really lucrative career.
House cleaning?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I've had prices from $150 to $600 to clean our house. I think that that is a very easy thing to get into. And if you can book out your day, 2 big houses or multiple houses throughout the day, you can make a lot of money doing that. And it could be a primarily cash business, which creates other opportunities. But I think that a lot of people sleep on the simple jobs like that.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of, I don't want to clean that. Fuck, if I was a single man and lived in that big ass house, I would have somebody in there every week cleaning. Because I'm not doing it. Like, you're going to do dishes and laundry too, so I don't have to touch that also? Fucking super. Right? Like, but there are people out there who live like that for me, that like, you know, in that mindset, that are single, that fucking want to have that. And then there's people like us who are busy as shit. To have somebody come in once a month and deep clean the house is a huge fucking win for us, because we can go on a date or do something else. You know what I mean? Because we don't have to spend that day cleaning. That's just one of those things that I think people, it's a lucrative job.
I did a lot of drinking and a lot of not giving a fuck and not giving any relationships the time of day because I was too scared to get hurt. I'm sure everybody has seen Practical Magic, but I'm on the list that she made and made my own. I'm sure everybody has seen Practical Magic. What were you going to say?
Have you seen the movie Practical Magic?
I have never heard of that.
They create, the 2 sister witches create like the perfect man.
Oh.
And he shows up and she falls in love with him, but she's married to an abuser, and they kill the abuser and he becomes a ghost and he starts haunting, and it's just a whole thing. But the Practical Magic reference is that the witches created the perfect man.
Okay.
And like, it was very specifically, he had 1 green eye, 1 blue eye. And like, so that was a reference to a movie with Sandra Bullock.
Okay. I'm sure everybody has seen Practical Magic, but I took the list that she made and made my own and said I would never be with another man unless he had every single quality on this list. And I was content never being with anyone ever again after my last relationship was almost 3 years. He had been cheating on me for 8 months and I had no idea. Completely wrecked as a person.
The list thing confuses me. She made a list. Oh, talking about the movie.
Yeah.
Okay. I get it now. It just took a minute.
Yeah.
Because they were like, she made a list and I made my own. I thought this was a dude writing about a woman.
Gotcha.
And they both made the list and this is the perfect person. That was not where I thought that was going. And it really confused the shit out of me.
Gotcha.
I got it now though.
Perfect.
I'm here. Let's go.
I love it.
Important for duty.
That is until September of 2023. I saw him, the man my soul met, and was like, there you are. I've been looking for you my entire life. My heart flew out of my chest when I saw him. There was something about him. I needed to just be with him. I didn't even care if it stayed just friends. There was just something about his energy that drew me to him so strongly. We built a friendship for about 3 solid months. He was always there when I needed him, and both of us were going through a really, really hard time.
And this was based solely off of an appearance.
Yes.
Remember how earlier you were like, can you repeat that or excuse me? To give you the opportunity to say that again, just so you can hear how stupid it was?
Yeah.
All of that just from looking at somebody?
Right.
Come on now.
Yeah.
That's your hormones.
Yeah.
Put it back in your pants, lady. Let's go.
That's that lust.
Yeah. How can you even feel the energy if you're just looking at him? You saw him, your heart jumped out of your chest, and you knew
that this was the person that you've been waiting for your whole life.
Right. What if he spoke Russian and you don't speak Russian? Now what are you going to do? I
would learn Russian.
In a second?
No, over time.
Right. Well, what if you guys tried to communicate, he couldn't, and he left and you never saw him again?
Yeah, that's a good point. Continuing on, I was always there when he needed me or wanted some company. I'd bring him dinner, let his dog out during the day, and literally made myself available to him anytime 24/7. Before we actually started dating, he was such a gentleman. He would open doors for me, ask me about my day, made sure I was safe, slept on the outside of the bed closest to the door, sits facing the door at restaurants, and this beautiful man carries a 40 on his hip. I felt so incredibly safe in his presence.
But...
Right. I was like, felt, that's past tense.
Right.
I get hung up on past tense a lot.
I know you do.
Yeah. I need to know that's still a thing right now.
Right. Well, when we have those conversations and we're talking about the past, of course it's going to be past tense conversation. And you go, wait a minute, why did you use past tense? And I'm like, because we're talking about something that happened a year and a half ago.
Right. But this is still our relationship. So I need to know that it's still a thing.
Yeah. Yeah. But can you clarify that you still feel that way?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I'm not smart enough in the moment to say that because I'm so emotional and damaged that all I can get out is, why'd you use past tense? Continuing on, it is now almost August of 2024, so almost a year. He just turned 33. I just turned 30. We live together. We got a dog together. We live out in the sticks. So we leave my car in the city where we both work and we ride to work together and ride home together. We live in a 45-foot 2024 Puma Palomino. Not Alamo. Don't say camper. With his 3 kids and 13-year-old who we share time with his 3 kids and 13-year-old who we share time with other parents. We co-parent with them fairly easily.
It's a lot of people living in a camper.
Yes, it is. That sentence also confused me. So does he have 3 kids and you have a 13-year-old from a previous relationship? Or all 4 kids, his children, and you're a step parent?
It doesn't specify.
Yeah.
I don't think it matters. They're living in a fucking camper with 2 adults, 3 kids, and 1 part-time.
And a dog.
And a dog. It's that tiny home life.
Yeah, that is exactly what that is.
That's the we get no privacy life. That's it. In the event that I fart on one end of the camper, you're going to hear it in the front.
Yeah. Continuing.
That's I'm putting my hand over your mouth when we fuck because I don't want anybody to hear that screaming. And if you go, it's over. They're going to all know what's happening.
Yeah.
Thin ass walls.
Yeah.
We're putting egg crate all over this motherfucker.
You know, I've had some thoughts that when the kids become like 15, 16 years old, getting them like a shed that they can turn into a house on the property. They can start learning self-sufficient shit.
Well, if we keep the house that we're in, we just make a game room. Be like, go to the game room for the next 3 hours. Leave us alone. Or if they're old enough to drive, take the car. Here's $50.
Be back by 9 p.m.
Right. Get out.
That is a very good option. They're going to go to school and be like, do your parents give you $50 every day and tell you to leave the house?
Jenna said, you feel the shaking. Trust me, there's no hiding that part. I firmly believe the neighbors think that I try to kill you at least twice a week.
Oh, 100%. Oh, yeah. I am genuinely shocked the cops have not shown up at our house. Yep. I would do really well in a horror movie, though.
Jesus Christ. Let's get back to this, please.
Life with him is easy. We laugh until we cry. We rarely fight. Typically, our fights are due to my insecurities, which I am working on.
Okay.
I am heavy and I've been trying to lose weight for years, but he doesn't seem to mind my weight. He doesn't seem to mind my weight, me, and squishes all the places that make me cringe, but he just loves me all the same.
So do you think that that's hindering your progress or do you think it's hindering your progress?
What?
She's been trying to lose weight for years and it's something that she's self-conscious about and insecure.
Oh, but he's so about it.
But because he's loving it,
yeah.
Is she just accepting that that's who she is and not making the changes that she wants to see in herself? I'm going to say something that's going to piss off a whole lot of people.
Okay, say it.
Being obese is not healthy.
No.
And if you're trying to spend the rest of your life with the person you love and you want to have a long, healthy life, you have to fucking lose weight.
Yes.
Or one of you is going to have a very short lifespan and somebody's going to be alive while one person is not.
There's also going to be the trauma of being a caretaker to somebody who could have gotten it under wraps.
Right. Right. And this is coming from 2 people who've been over 300 pounds.
Oh, yeah.
I still struggle with my weight.
I have that good 20 pound gap that I fluctuate between.
Danish said 260 to 198 as of this morning.
Ooh, get it.
A huge loss.
Congratulations.
Rose said I
Fantastic.
lost 100 pounds and I still feel too big at 130. Crazy.
Yeah, I get that though.
Like my space buns? You want a tutorial?
I forgot that was a thing. I'm so glad people don't ask me about my hair anymore.
Yeah, because you don't do it anymore.
Well, my hair is getting way too long for it. When my hair was shorter, like in that cow video, the space buns were perfect. But now there's too much hair that hangs out at the bottom, or there's too much hair up here. It just looks like one massive
Floof.
like rat's nest. Like I could house some birds in there. You know, come home one day and I have like a blue jay in my hair. I tried to do the space buns again, but then I got carried away with housing birds.
Be like the brown wizard in Lord of the Rings. Fucking owl shit down the side of your head.
He was one of my favorite characters.
Yeah.
Love that guy. Yep. His energy was unmatched. I like how he would stop and listen to the animals too. Okay, continuing on. We listen to the same music. We love the same football team. We enjoy the same movies and video games. He is literally checking every single box on my list that I made, and he makes me fall in love with him every single day I have never been. And I am beautiful and gorgeous and perfect and amazing by anybody, let alone a man. I did not know what true unconditional love meant. I did not know what true unconditional love meant until I met him. I'm going to say it, and I might get hate for this. I think it's really weird to have this like same football team as being your checklist, on your checklist.
Some people are really into sports.
I don't understand that.
I don't either. I don't sport.
Like I would put loyalty.
Yeah. There's
or
people,
grooming.
There's people up there that, I mean, you hear people say politics got to be up there. Religion.
Really?
People get like that.
Yeah, you know what? I get it.
Could you imagine us being opposite football fans and being hard into football and trying to have like our teams at the Super Bowl and how that would work out? Well, like it could create problems. I mean, people are into what they're into. I'm not saying that like I agree. I just I know
I just don't get that passion.
I don't either.
I think it's cool that people feel so strongly about something like that. That you're willing to shit talk your partner if we're on the same team.
Yeah.
Players are a bunch of pussies.
Yeah.
That's why the 49ers are the best. They don't take drink breaks. What is that? Tape on his ankle? Weak.
That's funny.
Continuing on. Here is my dilemma. I have turned into the soft, emotional crybaby since I met him. If he raises his voice, I cry because it hurts me to upset him or let him down. I know that Peaches is a crier. I would really love some advice on what I can do to not just cry my feelings out, even happy feelings, thinking about how much I want him and would serve him and do anything for him.
That's really the question.
Is that really the question?
Not how do I make it so that my man doesn't yell at me? Not why does he yell at me? Like, why are we accepting behavior that is unbecoming of the gentleman that you said that you had?
That's the question.
Yeah. So, fuck it. I'll cry. He can keep yelling at me. It's abuse. No big deal.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm hung up on that too. My husband doesn't yell at me. Even if I do something that massively frustrates him or I'm on autopilot and I do something that he perceives as disrespectful, it's a conversation. There's no raising voice or degrading name calling or anything like that. I still cry.
That's the real conversation that needs to be had.
Yeah.
How do we get to the point where we can calm things down before it gets to the point of him yelling? Why does he yell?
Yeah. I'm going to finish reading this and then see if I can give an answer. I'm a damn good woman. I bring him his plate and I take his plate. He eats first. House is clean. He has clean laundry. And I take his boots off after a long day of work.
So her love language is act of service.
Yeah. I want to pause on that though, that he eats first. Nobody eats until I sit down in our household.
Right.
My husband will get his plate first. And then the children will get their plates and then I'll make my plate and then I'll come and sit down. But nobody takes a bite until my ass is in a seat. And there's always thank yous for making dinner. Thank you for cooking, mommy. You're the best chef. All of that.
You know how people get butthurt over that?
Me serving you?
Yeah. That whole thing. Because I get my plate first. People get really upset over that.
Yeah.
And you doing that I have the coldest food
Yeah.
because my plate gets made first.
Mm-hmm.
So as you're portioning everything, my plate's sitting there, then the kids, and then yours.
Mm-hmm.
So I am technically eating the oldest food.
Yeah.
It is an act of service. It's letting me know that I am the head of household. Here's your plate first.
Mm-hmm.
But it's making sure that you have the best of, right? So there is an ebb and flow that comes into that most people will never understand because they're too prideful to want to serve their man. But you are right. And that nobody eats until you do. Nobody gets to take a bite.
Right. I mean, if you want to get technical about it, I eat first because I eat while I'm cooking to make sure that what I'm cooking is worthy of setting in front of my family.
Yeah. Every once in a while, I look at little man and be like, eat a potato.
I bet he does too.
We both do, quickly.
I love that you guys have that little moment.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I also want to touch on before I continue reading. She says, I am a damn good woman, and then just lists
Services.
acts of services. There is so much more to being a good woman than just being a servant for the person you're with. I felt the need to say that.
I would also like to add on to that being a damn good woman looks differently to every man.
Correct.
So if you're a damn good woman in your eyes, that's great. But if you're married to a man that doesn't view you the same way, that could be problematic as well.
Yes.
And this is why we do the check-ins. This is why you have a whole list of expectations laid out before you get serious with somebody so that you know that you guys are on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
And this is not us shitting on the emailer by any means. I do think the answer to the question that you asked is why is he yelling? Mm-hmm. And how do we resolve that over worrying about you crying? Because that's the bigger issue.
Mm-hmm.
What?
I'm recuperating for a second. I don't know if you saw that.
You spit on yourself?
No, I was drooling.
I saw you wiping.
Yeah, I was fiddling with my piercing.
And you were slobbering on yourself.
And then I was looking at you and I was thinking about our conversation before and I drooled a little bit. Thank you, Carrie. She was like, it happens. It happens to the best of us. That is very reassuring. Thank you. How does that make you feel, knowing that you can make me salivate?
That wasn't me that did that. You were fucking spacing out and drooled on yourself.
Damn.
There's something else that I want to say that's really fucking inappropriate, and I'm not going there because of what happened in the last podcast.
Right.
When we weren't live.
Right.
That I'll post to Patreon later, but totally has to get cut out of that recording.
Yes.
We've had enough of that for today.
But I disagree wholeheartedly. And I will go to war over that. But I don't want you to think that I'm just some absent-minded person over here drooling on herself because I'm spacing out into the world. Don't believe that.
Sometimes
don't tell yourself
everybody does stupid shit like that from time to time.
Right.
You know how many times I find myself doing this at the TV?
I catch you doing it.
I hate it. I fucking hate it because I'm totally just checked out and my jaw got heavy.
Yeah. There's going to be one day where I reach over and just...
I would be so fucking embarrassed. I catch myself doing that shit and close my mouth and I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with me?
Oh, it'd be so funny. I would die of laughter. That'd probably be the only time I did it for the comical aspect of it because it would embarrass you, but I can just imagine you spacing out and I touch your mouth and like, what the fuck are you? Because I closed it. Yeah. I love our relationship.
I would probably flinch at seeing your hand come at my face in that moment because I'm totally checked out. I would have no idea what's happening. Oh man.
What if I got into your lap, kissed your forehead, and then closed your mouth?
I mean, I don't know what would be happening with my mouth if you got in my lap. Like at that point, like I think that your whole plan would go out the window.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I would know what the hell's happening in that situation.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
You still like it when I sit in your lap? We just side railed a lot.
We did.
We did.
We did.
Sometimes I feel like you only let me sit in your lap because that's what I want to do.
Mm-mm.
Okay. I needed that reassurance. Thank you. I have many flaws. I am not perfect, but I can't stop crying and it makes him uncomfortable. I will do anything for this man, and though he hasn't said I need to stop crying because it definitely affects him, I want to be the best me I can be, not only for myself and my kid, but for him.
Then find a way to get him to stop yelling at you.
Yes.
Especially for your kid.
Well, kids, because there's 4 children involved. And I think that's something that should also maybe be evaluated because my kid being in that sentence and not our kids.
Well, maybe only one of them is hers.
Well,
we
right,
don't know.
but
Like,
if they're all living in a 45-foot camper,
yeah, that's true.
like his children, you're also a mother figure to them. You don't have to be a biological mother to be a mother.
Right.
That also shows where train of thoughts are. I just felt the need to touch on that. You should start viewing his children as your children if this is going to be a serious thing. Continuing on.
Mm-hmm.
I have been his peace, and I never want to be anything but his peace.
Then why does he yell at you?
Right. Happy spouse, happy house. Thank you for everything you guys do. I'm using talk to text because I can't find my glasses, so hopefully this email made complete sense because I tried to proofread it, but I can't see that great. It was a little wonky. It was a little off, but not too bad. I could tell that maybe you didn't have your glasses. I hope one day to hear from you guys. I think you guys are wonderful. Thank you for the continued education for me, not only to know how I should be treated, but how to be a great woman and keep up as a traditional relationship. Peaches, you are my role model, and I strive to be the best woman I can be. That's still weird for me to read.
What?
That people look up to me and I'm a role model and all these other kinds of things.
There is an entire trend based around you on TikTok.
I don't know how to handle that.
Mama said.
I don't know how to respond to that. Part of me doesn't believe that I'm worthy to be a role model. Why are you looking at me like that?
I was waiting on you to finish your thought and then I was going to jump in.
Part of me feels like I'm not worthy to be a role model because of, it's not often, but I still am a human. And I make mistakes and I have negative thought patterns and all these other kinds of things. And I guess you could say that I'm still working on that, but I don't view myself as anything special for people to look up to.
Do you realize how many people are in relationships or who have been in relationships that have never experienced what we have?
Yes.
People want what you have. They want to have a man look at them the way that I look at you, and vice versa. People want to have an experience where their partner actually gives a fuck about them, where there's not hostility and there is conversations and changed action after the changed behavior after the conversations. Like there is a lot of it's not okay to be feminine.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of things that you are pushing back against by being a beautiful, feminine, outspoken woman who loves her man and is willing to serve and like puts the marriage first. So while there's a whole world of women out there who are trying to go against that narrative, there are few women who are doing what you're doing, and people are fucking vibing with that because they want what you have.
Right.
So
it's just it's surreal still. I try really hard, and I tell this to the women in the private groups all the time, that I want to be somebody worthy of being looked up to. I never take any of this for granted. I know that there are millions of eyes watching us, and some of those eyes are young. I don't want to be a Logan Paul.
Right.
Or like a Tana Montague, or however you say her last name. She's a mess. I mean, she's gotten her shit together in recent years, but she's still a mess of a person. And I never want to just be this catchy, gimmicky grifter, you could say.
Oh, we've been called grifters.
Oh, yeah, I know. This is why I specifically use that one.
I had to Google it when I heard that phrase.
I did have to Google that too. It also made, I watched a show on Netflix called Grace and Frankie. And Frankie calls somebody a grifter, and I never thought to Google it because I was like, it's just, she says funny things sometimes. But after I started getting called a grifter, I was like, hold up. And I Googled it. But the context of that show makes a lot more sense now because I have the definition of that word.
I mean, we're 1 o'clock. We're
Okay.
an hour and 26 in. We can wrap up.
Okay.
All right. With that being said, guys, remember you are the author of your own life.
So grab a pen.
And we will see you on the next one.
Bye, guys.